Evansville, Indiana is home to the Pigeon Creek Greenway Passage trail. It's a newer trail, and when it's completed, it's going to be 42 miles in a paved circuit that goes through Evansville and then all across the county where Evansville is located. That's in Vanderburgh County, Indiana. It's a path where you can go for a walk, you can jog, you can bicycle. There's even a place where you can launch a canoe. It has a very long riverfront corridor. It's going to be close to parks. It's going to connect to wetland areas. It's also going to be part of a trail called the American Discovery Trail, which actually goes from the east coast of the U.S. to the west coast. So conceivably, someday you could even walk to the Pacific Ocean along the Greenway Passage. Evansville is now the third largest city in Indiana, and it's an important business center for the tri-state region of Illinois, of Kentucky, and of course Indiana. It's just a short distance up the river from where the Ohio runs into the Mississippi. As the county seat, Evansville has a courthouse that dates back to 1890. The architecture is just really interesting on any side that you view it. It has sculpted fruits of Indiana. It shows grains and the produce that's grown here. There are columns all around it. There's also actually a tunnel that runs underneath that leads from the courthouse over to the old jailhouse, which was built at about the same time, around 1890. In parts of downtown Evansville's architecture, you can see a really amazing contrast between buildings that were built about the late 1800s and then the early 1900s. It's just a really unique combination of river architecture that you probably can't see very many other places in the country. And of course you have the more modern sections, some of them right across the street from the others. The trail continues from downtown further along the river to the west. The trail is very accessible to anybody who wants to use it. The first casino that ever came to Indiana was located right here in Evansville. It's called Casino Astar, and of course they do pretty good business too. There have been a number of archaeological finds in this area. The Angel Mound State Park, which the trail will connect up with eventually, is just east of Evansville. The trail leads on west, and it comes to a railroad crossing. The trail splits. One continues west along the river to Pigeon Creek, and then the other one heads off to the north. These nifty little gates force you to look one way, and then you have to look another way for trains. And even though it sounds like a scary thing, they've designed it well so that you don't have to worry about the trains. There's the Shirley James Plaza along this trail. Shirley James was a woman who did a lot of work for this trail. She unfortunately passed away in 2007. She was important in getting the trail built, and along with a number of other enthusiasts, put her stamp on it and a lot of hard work to see it through. The plaques there depict the history of transportation in and around Evansville. We have canals, we have railroads, we have the river. There's so much history that you can see in this area. The trail keeps going to the north, and there are a number of places where you have access to it. There's no problem with trying to figure out how to get on it or how to get off. We're going toward West Franklin Street. This trail has a number of interesting bridges that you don't see in other places. It kind of looks like when you go underneath them that you'll have to duck, but you really don't. And then on past this bridge, we come to the end of the paved portion. But they're working on this trail constantly, so it won't be too long before the whole trail is completed and you can go from the riverfront north to Pigeon Creek. It's just going to be a really interesting project when they get it completed. Back to where the trail splits, you go west again toward Ohio Street. And then there's this other fantastic bridge at the end of this section. We're headed now toward where Pigeon Creek itself feeds into the Ohio River. That's where the name of the trail came from. This is also where the canal boats used to come in to the river in the mid-1800s. This bridge is kind of unique. You can see the railroad bridge right next to it. It's not used anymore, but you have railroad on one side and then you have river transportation on the other. We're going to go where another part of the trail was completed. This is more on the north side of Evansville to Uholm Street. You can find it easily because there's an animal shelter there, and then the access is beyond the animal shelter. That's a nice thing about this trail. There are a number of access points from the park, and there's adequate parking when you come, so you don't have to have any trouble getting on the trail or to find a place to park. We're coming up on an area. This is another part under construction. The trail goes under a road. This is Crattsville Road. This is going along Pigeon Creek, and this is where the canoe launch is. When we come back, we're going to be heading back east again, going under the bridge. This is the current west trailhead here. So you can go out from Pigeon Creek and into the Ohio River if you want to make a nice day of it. Now, Evansville is a river town, and it's easy to find great ways to celebrate in just about any river town that you'll ever come to. In Evansville, there are a number of events to go to after you get off the trail. You have art shows, there's wine and jazz festivals, there's a world-class barbecue festival just across the river. There's a huge street fair here every year. There are hydroplane races, bluegrass music, just about anything for anybody's taste. Golf, fishing, a big fireworks display on the riverfront for the 4th of July. Another major access site to the trail here is called Garvin Park. It's a large park. There's a really nice pond here. If you feel like you're lost, there's also very good signage to tell you where you've been or where you want to go. As you can see, the Pigeon Creek Greenway Passage not only goes through modern Evansville, but it really covers a lot of history and actually also a lot of prehistory that you can learn. This is actually the end of the line for the trail until we add some more miles to it. So this trail is really an achievement for modern-day Evansville. It's well worth coming to see and to travel along, and it has a lot that it can teach you.